Hello. We're live on YouTube here, and I had to double check. I had a realization as the intro song was playing to make sure that your audio is going out to the output. It says it is, so that's good. It's BFS Live episode 115. It's Wednesday, November 19th. I can't believe it's already December. It's like ridiculous. We're here with Regis, right? And you're with Galileo, which is or at least in some part, community center and skate park, a nonprofit organization. And we're going to learn a little bit about what you're doing. And you reached out to me and you want to talk about the sustainability of skate park. So we'll kind of define what that is, and then we'll take it from there. For the listeners out there, there was no show last week because I live streamed the hip hop show we had instead. So if you're in the hip hop, you can check that out. That's on the YouTube channel. I didn't send it out to the podcast network because I just didn't think that would land really. But yeah, Regis, why don't you give me your 2 minute, like, who are you? What's your relationship to action sports? And then we'll kind of springboard from there.
Gotcha. So I'm Regis, founder of Galileo Skate Park based in Rhode Island. So we are a community center, nonprofit organization, and we have a lot of different initiatives for the community. So Home Sweet Home, Operation Green Thumb, Operation Lotus. And these are some of our initiatives. So Lotus was our focus on recreational sports. So within that, we built a skate park, a few skate parks. One in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, it's 40,000 square feet. Unfortunately, it didn't get to open unforeseen circumstances. And we opened up a 17,000 square foot space in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. And then that had about a 10,000 square foot skate park in it and a 7,000 square foot fitness facility, cold plunge, small pantry. So we had people that from the community can come in and grab food. And we also did like clothing drives. So we do an annual clothing drive every winter. So we ask the community to donate any items, that they no longer use, coats that can help keep the community warm during the winter, personal hygiene items as well. And then we collect those and pass them out on Saturdays when we pass out food for the community in a collaboration with Limitless Living Ministries, Pretty Cares, the Milagros Project, CCA, and a few other awesome organizations in Woonsocket. I know kind of a lot of stuff.
That's great. I love it.
That's the kind of the gist of everything.
What was Green Thumb?
So Green Thumb is an agricultural collective that I'm trying to start. So as an answer to food security, I believe the answer is growing our own food. So
Love it.
there's a lot of land that is accessible in a lot of like provinces and cities that's available. So I'm trying to partner with local governments and different people to try to get this initiative going.
That's great. I love that community gardens type stuff. Do you ever read any Michael Pollan's books by any chance?
I don't. I should definitely read more.
He's written all about food and more so our relationship to food or our relationship to nature. And like, it's like, he's a really good writer. He kind of like weaves between speaking like philosophically or scientifically in a way that doesn't seem like bland. His most famous book was The Omnivore's Dilemma. That one's more directly about it's essentially the story of 4 meals from the ground to your plate. But prior to that, he wrote this book called Second Nature, which is about kind of like the philosophy or how people think about what's a garden. Like if you just like put outline a box around an area of ground, does it now become a garden? Or like some plants are perceived to be weeds, but to other people, it's like a plant they're trying to keep alive. And to some people, plants are medicine. Right. And some like it really interesting. His stuff's all good. He's written books about psychedelics too. He's all over the place. He's really good. It just
We gotta check him out.
yeah, it's good stuff.
But I feel like
Um,
we definitely have to reevaluate our relationship with plant life.
yeah, I mean, it's no doubt we're completely disconnected from nature these days. And I don't get away a lot, but when I do get to close the skate park, 'cause I do that twice a year around Labor Day and Memorial Day, I close the skate park for a minimum of a week and I leave. And as much as I love the skate parks, a skate park is a very like rigid geometric place. You know, everything is it's like very like square or rounded or perfect, and it makes me just yearn for like nature and like organic shapes. And I just like to get away and just go in the woods and turn off. Well, where I go camp, there isn't service, so your phone's off anyway. It doesn't even matter. It's like it's useless there, and just let it all out. You know?
Decompress. Yeah, I feel like we definitely need balance in life.
Yes.
Too much of one thing is terrible, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Too much of the. I do the social media stuff and the live show. I'm just like, I like hate the screens, but I work on the screens and I have to
Right,
reply to every
same, man.
comment, and it's like, bruh. Like
Right.
today killed me. Like today I was working on ramps and filming, and then trying to sit down and edit. But in the video today, I was like, "Oh, how much do you think this wood costs?" So I had like a billion comments of people guessing how much the wood costs. So I'm like replying to every comment because that's what you're supposed to do to grow on social media.
Right. But it takes away from everything else, the mental,
Oh
the
yeah,
time and the
dude.
energy.
And everyone thinks owning a skate park is like this fun fairy tale life. Like you get to hang out and ride with your homies. And it's like, no, I spent
Right.
all day working on ramps or sitting on my phone editing videos and
Same,
and
man.
ringing people up and hearing them in the skate park, woo woo, having a good time riding. As I'm like, I want to be out there riding, but I got to
Right.
keep the skate park open. But it's not a thankless job. My customers are
Right.
great, as almost anyone who works in an indoor skate park anywhere in the world will tell you. People are so thankful. You know, on the way out the door, dude, thank you so much for everything you do. It makes it all worth it. Every damn
Definitely.
day. So you said you had a skate park that never opened?
Oh yeah, man. So we
You
had
think?
a beautiful space. But after building, most of the park, the landlord came back and he changed his mind about a lot of the stuff that we agreed upon
Damn.
initially. Right? Like, oh, you went from 40,000 square foot. You can only have 12,000 square feet. And we had
Oh,
already built, like 15,000 square feet of the park. So we had to tear it down,
god damn.
we would have had to tear down a
And that
good
was in
amount just to
Pawtucket?
stay there. Yeah, that was in Pawtucket.
Isn't there an outdoor concrete park in Pawtucket?
I believe so.
I'm
I
pretty sure I
believe so.
rode. Is it? I remember riding a park. I think it was in Pawtucket, and it was next to like a minor league baseball
Oh
field.
yeah. That one sounds pretty cool.
I
Yeah.
remember it was like really like a couple ledges, nothing too much. Huh, that's neither here nor there. You seem like a pretty young guy. You told me in your 30s. You look younger. Good,
Yeah, I guess. I
congratulations.
guess. I appreciate that, man. I don't feel it. That's
It's
for
it
sure.
sounds like you're pretty passionate, which is something you really need in this industry. Um, all this nonprofit stuff, all these different initiatives you're doing. Like, why are you doing it? What's behind all this?
Um, I just feel like it's my purpose. It brings me the most, I guess, peace in life, the most fulfillment. I feel like I've done a lot of different jobs. I was in the Air Force for a while. Um, I did all type of jobs before that. But this is, I guess, one that I don't know. I just feel like I'm supposed to be doing.
Hmm.
Um,
I feel that
how about yourself? Why the skate park?
someone has to do it.
All right,
That's
we
why, dude.
need
Like,
them, bro. I don't know why there are more, man.
I mean, my skate park, like this opportunity. I don't need to like hash out my whole origin story, but I moved from New Jersey up here to work at a skate park. It didn't exactly work out. The relationship didn't work out. They
Yeah, I feel that.
fell onto hard times. They tried to give it away to a nonprofit. I was on that nonprofit that brought me back into the fold, and then I more or less helped. Basically, they got evicted. The landlord changed the locks, and then here's this
So
skate park sitting here. Here's this money that's owed, and here's Dave. And I'm like, all right, let's figure this out. Like, they told us, the landlord said, like, we'll just get rid of it. Like, we'll smash it up with a backhoe or a bobcat or something and throw it in a dumpster, and then we'll charge you guys for whatever it costs. So, in addition to working for the previous owners, I didn't want to make their life worse, So we kind of worked like a triangulated agreement where like we sold the landlord on my business plan. So then they had the confidence of knowing we have another tenant. And at worst case scenario for them, in 1 year, we're in the same situation. They get to kick the can down the road. And for the previous skate park, they got someone a little more competent, and that wasn't me. I was working with a business consultant to negotiate on their behalf. And I got a skate park for like pennies on the dollar. And like what I bought the assets for basically went directly to the landlord to offset their debt, in addition to negotiating their 6-figure debt down to a far more manageable number. I always wanted to like have my own like shop. I always wanted like a bike shop, skate bike, something like in that realm. And I never really thought like maybe I'll have a skate park, but then it just kind of fell in my lap. And here I am 9 years later, and I'm like, I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
that's what's up, man. That's a beautiful story, man.
It's actually a crazy story. It sounds like a movie if I told you all the details. Like there's some like really good, there's some gold in there.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine doing anything else in my life. It's like, I'm in a weird situation where, like, when I started doing this, my goal was 10 years, which is like, that's a pretty lofty goal because skate parks usually last 2 or 3 years. And now here I am, like, in
You figured it out, man.
less than a month, I'll be at my 9-year anniversary. So the idea of making it 10 years is no longer an abstraction. It's like literally, I'm looking right at it and I'm like, well, hell, like, what do I do? I always said I'd try to do 10 years and now I'm at 10 years and like, I don't want to stop doing this. Like, I don't want to I don't know what the hell I'm going to do.
Do it
And
bigger. Do it bigger, man.
I don't know. And it's been really, really hard post-COVID. Like I basically just lost money being open, and part of my social media and the podcast and all this stuff is trying to save the business. And then once I started having all these conversations with like people like you who are, people all over the country who are also trying to do the same thing, I realized that it's actually like a bigger thing. I'm no longer trying to save my skate park in Rochester. I'm like trying to save action sports more broadly, right? Like I kept having these conversations and many people being like, oh, like a lot of the big brands are, at least in my opinion, are scared to try new stuff. They're scared to do anything different than what they've done. And a lot of them have like kind of digressed into like, we're going to operate kind of small and keep things safe and just do a little bit of product and just kind of like get through this storm. But just trying to weather the storm is hoping that, the cultural trends are going to change with the kids and they're going to get off the phones and start riding more again or something. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like I want to try to make, the TikTok account or whatever that gets kids pumped to skate again. And that's what I've been doing for, almost a year now.
What's up, man? So I'm proud of you, man. I want
Thanks.
to be like you when I grow up.
I mean, for me personally, like I went through a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of family crap when I was younger. Alcoholism and heroin, and lived in a house with no hot water for a while. Like things got pretty bleak, but I always knew I just go over to this one spot. All this is a curb and a manual pad, and if I had, for me it was mostly the bike, but a curb cut's only so fun for a while, so I would skate too. And eventually I got older, I always kept a flat rail in the back of my pickup truck. And it'd be like, as long as I had a parking lot, I could ride it all out. None of that other stuff matters if you could just ride it out. And now I'm like, people don't need to just ride it out. I have this skate park they can come ride, and I do all that stuff like pay what you can sessions and volunteer to ride, and people that know I'm a nice guy. You come talk to me as long as you look me in the eye and say, "Listen, having a rough time right now. Can you spot me?" F yeah, dude, I got you. Plenty of people like in recovery or whatever, you're just like, hey, is you're better off here than going to hang out with the people that got you into what you're doing. So come here and skate. When you find some work, and we'll reassess. But you're better off coming here and skating every day than whatever the heck you were doing that got you in trouble, right? But that's enough about me.
But yeah, I feel like that's not an aspect of skating that's talked about enough. The mental health aspect,
100%.
Using that as a release.
Well, it makes perfect sense. Like the fact that when you're riding a new feature or trying a new trick, it's exploratory network. It's like literally your dopamine system, right? And if you're just going through the motions, like I got the flat bar, I'm going to do board slide, back lip. Just when you go through all that, you're on your normal serotonin reward system. So it's literally the perfect antidote when you're like brain's all messed up from whatever be dopamine depletion from the phone, right. Or from whatever stress is happening at home or work, etc. Right?
Yeah, I feel like it also built in is that that problem solving, that every skater or action sport enthusiast has to overcome. I feel like that helps build that confidence
100%
in tackling those obstacles in life.
Yeah, one of the things that really pisses me off is this perception about like this stuff being extreme.
Fireworks, like there's sharks with lasers.
Yeah. There's two things. The people that have no connection to action sports think two things. Either it's like really crazy and extreme and dangerous, or it's like their skaters are breaking bottles and doing drugs, and they're like in back alleys, like in a movie or some nonsense. And it's like, dude, if you're doing something where you might end up on the ground, would you break glass on the same ground? Like it makes no fucking sense, dude. And I had the news here last year for like this live segment thing. And I told the reporter, I'm like, hey, let's specifically don't use any of this extreme language. I know that's like the trope. Let's please avoid that because that doesn't help us. It hurts us. It needs to be understood as inclusive as it actually is, where it's like everyone's welcome, everything's cool. You progress at your own pace. It's all good. And the reporter who was here, we had a great dynamic. It was awesome. But then I go and watch the broadcast, and the guys in the studio, they're like, "Oh, let's go down to so and so. He's gonna break his neck." Like it's like, I'm like, bro, you're killing me.
Like, why would you wish that on me? Like, dang.
They make it seem like it's so dangerous. It's like, kid, I've had my skate park for 9 years. There's about one serious injury a year, maybe 1.5 if you do the numbers, and even those ones are like it's like a broke ankle or something, not like. Knock on wood. Knock on all the wood ever. I have never had just like a serious ankle, right? Like someone smashed their face in. Like I've never had that like crazy. I've never seen someone's bone sticking out. I saw a pinky bone once. But like like the rock climbing gym next door to me. They have ambulances here just as much as the skate park, maybe more. It's just so not helpful, that perception of action sports being dangerous. It kills me.
And then that also accommodates such a wide variety of people, like all people from walks of life, from different professions. I know doctors, lawyers that skate.
Yeah. Well, you think of it, a girl that worked for me also worked at a trampoline park, and she told me people there get messed up, and it makes a lot of sense because skating is terrifying, right? Like. You go if you're not good at skating, you've never skated. If you can stand on the top of literally like a 14-inch tall wedge, and you're like, Oh God, it's terrifying. It's
right?
absolutely
You're
terrifying.
very close to getting broke off, you
Yeah,
know.
but you get like, middle-aged dad goes to the trampoline park. He's like, "Oh, it's all trampolines and foam. I'll be fine." And the next thing you know, it's like, "Oh, well, now we got a tib fib, and who's taking your kids home?" Like, because there's the perception that you can't get hurt. It seems so safe. You're not going to pace yourself the way you would at the skate park.
All right. But that's why I also I guess I like skating. I like that aspect of it, you know, that reward, you know,
Well, it's just
from
you.
problem solving. Right? Exactly.
I like to call them personal progression oriented sports. It's like a mouthful, but that really does personify what it is. And like one of the really, really beautiful things about like skateboarding is like you could have three people on the same mini ramp and they could be totally different skill levels and riding in totally different styles, doing totally different tricks, but they all still understand it. And it's like that guy next to you can do everything you're trying, but he's not. There's that understanding. Like you don't do the trick. You see that dude is trying. Like, and if you do, dick move,
The
right?
unspoken rules,
Yeah,
right?
right. And like, I tell this to parents that come in all the time. Like, everyone that skates remembers the first drop in. If you know 25 flip tricks, you probably remembered your first kick flip, and you may have forgotten all the other ones, right? Like there's those milestones that are huge. So when a sick gnarly skater bro hits another cool trick, it's like, oh, cool. But when there's like an 8-year-old kid and he's sitting there and he's about to drop in, there's like that hush comes over the skate park, and
Right?
they might not be looking directly, but they're looking at the corner of their eye and they're like, oh, that kid's about to drop in for the first time. And I got goosebumps talking about it, right? And then he hits it,
Right,
and
right.
everyone in the skate park's like, ah, because everyone's been there. Ah, you don't
Right
get
now
that.
I do lessons as well. I have a 5-year-old dropping in, man. It's
That's awesome.
amazing. Kids is crazy. They're so like fearless now. I wish I was skating at that age, man.
Oh, it's so much
I think I
easier when
bruised my
you're
hip
that
trying to drop
small.
in. Right? Little, I don't know, because like the scale of everything, you know. So it's like for us, it would be like a 10-foot, drop
Yeah,
on
but
the first try, you know.
when you only weigh like 70 pounds and your center of gravity is like a foot closer to the floor, like
It sounds good,
gravity
but
isn't
to
isn't
be
as
honest,
harsh.
I mean, it helps a lot more, when you're larger, the muscles you need to, stabilize yourself a lot of times is what prevents them, for doing all the crazy stuff. But it's just that fear. They don't have the same, threshold of, oh, if I do this, I'm not gonna be able to go to work tomorrow.
The little kids bounce too. They get like they might be upset about falling, but they're like made of rubber bands.
Right.
Adults, yeah. I think like as you get older, you just get brittle, especially if you don't skate. Almost all my injuries that happen here are like non-skaters or not regular people that skate all the time. They don't have that higher bone density or whatever it is, that magic potion.
Right.
Because anyone that rides or skates, like you've taken some slams and like your legs bent back, and you get up and you're like, oh shit, really? I'm okay. It hurts, but like it moves. That's weird.
Yeah. No, I broke my ankle about a year ago, and then broke my toe right after that. So,
Oh, toes hurt for so long.
right, man, like 2 straight years, just back to back out.
I broke a big toe forever ago, and it still hurts.
Right, same. That's my tray flips are never the same, man.
Hmm. All right. Well, anyway, let's talk a little more about what you're doing. So right now, as you told me pre-show, you're currently looking for a new location to set up your operation. Uh, in a perfect world, tell me what if everything. It doesn't have to be a completely fantasy, but like in a realistic sense, if things go your way, 1 year from now, if tomorrow the ball starts rolling, everything's working out. What's Galileo look like a year from now?
Um, there's a space that I'm looking at in Woonsocket. There's like 20 acres for sale.
Ooh.
The dream would be I would acquire that land. I would put a indoor park and outdoor park. I would have the container gardens, to answer the food security issue, um, as well as like some residential spaces to answer the uh, a partial solution for the uh, homeless population. And I guess kind of a different solution as well. I feel like a lot of people are like kind of doing the same thing, but not necessarily addressing the root of the issues. And then also there's, I guess, an issue of us also, I guess, operating in silos. So a lot of the nonprofit organizations kind of do a lot of redundant tasks in the community, not any less important, you know. But since we're scattering our resources, we might be doing some of the same things that we could collaborate on that will, put a better emphasis on it. And then also, no one organization can offer everything to the community. So I feel like if a collective, could, that's why I kind of also feel like skate parks. No one skate park can just be it, because I feel like we need to evolve. We need to experience, new things. But yeah, so I would have the skate park, residential piece, providing food for the community, and then like I would love to have like some bike trails. That would be awesome. BMX track, and like camping grounds. That would be like Galileo's. You like a
The dream.
super center skate park, right?
That's great. And as you say, you were the founder and director of your is a nonprofit organization.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you have any regular reliable funding, or do you have a team that works on what's that look like on your side for the nonprofit?
Right now, I'm building that out right now.
It's the
So
hardest
right
part.
now, right, right, I'm doing merchandise sales. So on our website, um, dreamerstudio777.org, we're selling our merch. I'm giving lessons, so I do lessons. What else do we do? I'm offering like a sponsorship program, that people could sponsor and help. I'm also doing a fundraiser to raise funds to purchase that space in Providence so we could do the free indoor skate park.
Yeah, a lot of stuff like this is like so much of it is like on finding that one big donor, right? Like I have a lot of people that will comment on my stuff forever, as long as I've been around. It's like, oh, why aren't you a nonprofit? And I'm like, well, I don't like. It's not like a huge difference unless you could really get some like a reliable, you know, fiduciary, some sort, right? Like if someone showed up tomorrow and told me like, oh, we'll give you 20 grand a year or 50 grand a year to keep your organization going, I'd be like, all right, I'll start the paperwork tomorrow.
Right.
But
But I
yeah,
feel like there's not a so much of a difference between the I guess business structures, just more the charitable giving piece because they should also just run like businesses. You know.
well, yeah, it's just there's a lot of red tape with the nonprofit. You got to have all your bylaws and everything's got to be public, and like the conflict of interest worries me a bit in it because the skate park, the skate bike scenes are always very small, right? And I'm on more than one nonprofit board, and it's like we do events at my space, and it's like, well, I'm a board member, and then we're doing events in my space, and it's like, an outsider looking in could see that and be like, oh, what's he doing there? It can
Right.
very
Right.
like at once upon a time, the one nonprofit I was on, they wanted to like piggyback on my summer camps and write a grant through the city to bring in some inner city kids, get them bikes or scooters, and then they'd throw them into the camps I was already doing. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I can't do that unless I step down from the board, at least temporarily, or we had it well documented that I was like abstaining from all of this voting wise. Otherwise, it's just you're taking donated dollars into a nonprofit, and then they're ending up in a for-profit business that a board member owns, and that's my understanding questionable at the least and illegal at the most.
Mm.
Even if
I
even
guess
if
definitely
yeah
check the regulatory
yeah
compliance on that one.
yeah even if everyone, you and I and everyone listening knows, I mean, Dave's not going to do that. But if an outsider looking in, you go, well, what? That's an interesting move.
Yeah. I mean, it may not be like I guess a facetious. Well, not maybe that.
Malicious.
Yeah, malicious. That's what I was looking for. like malicious intent, it could just be a service that you're providing that
Yeah.
that you just so happen to provide the community that's unique.
Yeah, we had other situations in our nonprofit where like one of the a board member owned the local skate shop, and like there were certain instances where he would just abstain from voting because there was something happening and money, you know, better safe than sorry, for sure.
And I feel like we offer, operate in integrity,
Yeah.
like shouldn't be an issue in transparency, but
Yeah.
it's a part of, business. It can't operate without money. So,
Oh, yeah, for sure. You can try.
right.
That's crazy. All the out by us, I'm Western New York, which is kind of like I recently had an Instagram poll, and people are pretty debated over what regions in New York are actually definable as what. But the Ralph Wilson Foundation, which was, I guess, one of the owners of the Buffalo Bills or some crap like that, I'm not even sure. They partnered with Tony Hawk, formerly the Tony Hawk Foundation, the Skatepark project, and they literally had we had this initiative where we want to support skate parks in Western New York. And then like basically every skate park that's been built out the side of the state in the last like 3-4 years has all been at least in part funded through this, because
Man, that's awesome.
and that's like that's Rochester Park, the Medina Park. I can't even think right now. There's probably like 6. But some of these big, what do they call them? Endowments, is that the word? They
Mhm.
like have to give away, like they have like we give away X
Right.
amount of money a
Yeah.
year, and like some of these some of these endowments are like, if I don't even know if that's the right word, foundations or whatever. Like they're almost like they have to find places to give away the money, and they're out there. There's actually a bunch of them in Rochester. I'm not connected with that world, but it would definitely help me if I was.
You definitely got to do that. You're gonna have a larger impact, man.
Yeah, it's tough. One person show, man, spread so thin.
Yeah, you got to build a team, man. I was doing that for a while, 16-hour days with a broken foot, then with the toe. It's rough.
Man, it's so freaking hard to get anything going these days. People are like so distracted. I put this post out probably late winter, and it was just like a infographic, and it was like, hey, if you're a student, if you're it's a teacher, a staff member, a parent, anything, and you would like to help me figure out how we can get some skate programs in local schools, send me a message and let's like figure something out. And I got so much traction, so many direct messages about it, and nothing happened. It's great. Like I've talked with one school district, Fairport Schools here, and we actually ended up meeting and everything. But it's just like, God, it's like everyone's spread so thin. I don't know.
It is a lot, yeah, a lot. Where do we, place our time and resources
Yeah.
to market and stuff like that?
I had a
But
couple
I feel
other
like,
nonprofits message me, and they're like, we'd love to hear what your programs are. I'm like, I don't even have a program. Like, I'm just trying to get in front of a principal or a superintendent and be like,
you got to develop a program.
how does this work? Right? Because if I can get it in one school, then I can go to another district and say, hey, this is what I'm doing over here. But without one, I don't know.
Right. That's why I also feel is that really good for that sustainability piece.
Yeah.
Finding our demographic, because I feel like a long time I was like catering to more, intermediate advanced skaters, but the demographic that actually supports skate parks are, the newcomers,
Say it louder for the people in the
So,
back. That's
right,
the
right.
truth. Well, that's why I was asking for the kids within the schools, right? Because if I could be Dave at the skate park and I can call the school and they're like, yeah, cool, dude. Of course you want to like make money off our kids, right? But if I could get 6, 7, 8 kids who go to one school to then find a teacher, and then the teacher can go to whatever and be like, hey, I got these 6 kids. I'm gonna help them with that. They've talked to the skate park owner. He's down too. All of a sudden, then it feels like an organic grassroots thing that the kids are starting, and I'm helping them with it. And it's despite all that traction, I just couldn't get anything to happen. It still might happen in Fairport, but at this point, we're like
You
pretty
gotta
far
be
into the school year.
persistent, man. You gotta be persistent, man.
I just need like a volunteer parent or someone who will just like be that
Just
person for me. Like
organize
you call
everything.
the
Maybe
schools.
I can make some calls for you,
Yeah,
man.
right.
I can be some secretary, do some secretary work for you.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned sustainability a second ago, and that's what sparked our entire conversation. You want to talk about, how, making skate parks sustainable or whatever. Why don't you tell me what you mean by that, and then we can kind of go from there.
I feel like looking at things a little bit differently. So a lot of times that we always seek those large donors, like uh, buy that $1 million, grant or $50,000 grant. I feel like we should start to think about taking immediate action for ourselves. And how can we can do that is through group economics. So if 2,000 people, donated a couple dollars, $3, we could amass a large amount of funds to make change happen, today instead of waiting on a law to pass, waiting on a grant, to come through. So that's more what I'm trying to, I guess, a new culture, I'm trying to start. So the same thing with how we kind of operate, trying to solve, the homelessness issue, food security, collaboration. I feel like is the solution to everything. If we work together, it's a lot less strenuous for any one individual, one organization. A lot easier to accomplish a goal.
Yeah, I mean, how would you define like when you're talking about sustainability? Do you mean um, like riders who stick with it, or organizations that last longer, or like what do you like? What's your yeah
I guess sustainability for skate parks. You mentioned that most skate parks close in, like 2 years. So it's like very rare that skate parks stick around. So developing a culture that understands like, hey, this is an asset that we want, and it doesn't take much to sustain it. So if everyone, that supported the skate park came once a month, if you had 10,000 followers, everybody came, and paid $10 once a month, it would be so easy to build the biggest skate park in the world, if actually the community actually support it, and if everyone just does a small piece, it does so much on a grand scale. So community really, trying to establish that community, that's the key to sustainability.
yeah, I think we're floating over the same thing here. You're like, um, you mentioned about in the past, maybe you're catering a little bit too much to the advanced skateboarders, and it's more about the entry level skateboarders, right? I use I use the terms accessibility and sustainability all the time, and I think having accessible skate parks really makes for sustainable skate parks because you need to get well, one, you need to get people in the door, and when they get in the door, it needs to be accessible. So accessibility to me are things like an inclusive environment, um, particular time slots that make it's almost more for the parents and the kids, but make it feel like it's less dangerous or whatever because that perception we were talking about earlier.
It is
Yeah,
sometimes. A lot of these skaters don't care, man. They'll
yeah,
run you over,
yeah. I have
run
a
kids over, and
yeah. Um, I love when a bowl has one cut out for a little bit of a roll in to get in. Those little things make the park way more accessible, right? Because
right, right.
if a kid can't drop in and it's an entirely enclosed bowl, he really can't ride it. But having that roll in, he could work on the skills of riding it as he's working on the skills of learning how to drop in. Also, just scalable features. There's, yeah, that's
And I feel like a lot of parks are not made with beginners, in mind at
no.
all, you know. And then also, even for like intermediate and advanced, if say I want to try like a tray foot blunt for the first time, I don't want to, break both of my legs, trying it on a 6 foot, quarter. Like, why can't they make something mellow?
Yeah. There's like, I do my skate park reviews and I do those reviews from the perspective of every single user group and from the perspective that taxpayer money was spent on it. I don't do it from the perspective of like what I want to ride, right?
Right,
And like
right.
I've done this for a long time, and most of the parks I go to, like I look at the design work and I'm like, what? Like why? And
Right.
I've had on Baboon from Pillar Skate Parks and Cam from Always Hard Concrete, and off camera, I hope if I wouldn't care if I said this off camera, they were way more critical of the design than they were when we were talking, because they're building this stuff all the time, and like they're like, bro, like I just reviewed that brand new park in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and it's awesome. But on one side of the skate park, there's like this 6-foot corridor that's long. It's all pool coping. There's a bit of a kind of a pot, like not a full pocket, but a little bit of a radius corner in there. It's the tallest thing in the skate park. And the other side of the skate park, which is like 120 feet away, is only like a 5-foot corridor. It's literally makes absolutely no sense. It's like it's not a sustainable design, and it's definitely not accessible.
Right. And they say, oh, they boast that, oh, we built a pro level park. How many pros out there skating? It's just me.
Yeah.
And these little kids, give us a chance.
I've been consulting with a group in Elmira, New York, and I say, as far as sustainability goes, and this is very specific to outdoor public parks. Context really matters, right? If there's no skate park for you, an hour any direction, a half hour any direction, you shouldn't build a big, gigantic bowl. There's no, maybe there's a couple of really vocal skaters in your town who really want like an 8-foot deep, steep, tight radius pool coping pool, but there's only 4 of those guys. They just happen to come to the meetings, right?
Right.
If you want a bowl and there's no other parks like that nearby, you need to build like maybe a 3 to 5 foot flow bowl that's very accessible to all user groups.
Right.
And then
super mellow transition.
Let the next town do the big one, because then it's accessible. Oh, now the town over here is like, well, they have a 4-foot one. Let's build a 7-foot one. And it's like, okay, now we're starting to have this.
That's about that collaboration.
Yeah.
They got to talk. They
100%.
They just throw something up.
It's tough, man. I think we're on the same page. Most skaters don't understand that the sustainability of the support is so dependent on new riders. New riders are everything. Mm-hmm. Like if you want, let me take a step back. I come from the world of BMX, right? BMX is a bellwether for when action sports are doing good, because when action sports are killing it, there's such an overflow in skateboarding that it makes it into BMX, right? So like the biggest signifiers that action sports are killing it is when skate shoe companies pick up BMX teams. That has not happened for a long time, right? So, but how does it happen? Well, that happens when new riders are being created. Those new riders are buying skateboards, they're buying shoes, they're buying stuff. All of a sudden, now there's more skate shops, there's more product. Okay, the orders from China are getting bigger. And like all of a sudden now, that rising tide raises all the ships. But there's a major inclusivity problem in action sports. And I'll explain this to you, and everyone's going to get it. And then they're going to realize that you're kind of an asshole. And it's, if you show up to a public outdoor skate park and it's like swamped with little kids, almost ubiquitously, that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's the best thing for our sport. Right. But every skater, it's always so busy. I'm like, that's great. That's going to bring...
It's just because we be trying to get the clips, right?
Yes.
And they have no situational awareness. They're like,
Yes, of course it sucks for you in that moment because you want to do your thing, right? Like, another domain I'm involved in is disc golf. It's like a random sport I do, right? In that sport, if you showed up and there was like 20 kids on the course, like every dude I know would be so pumped. They would be like giving them frisbees out of the back of their car, being like telling them all about it. Dude, it's like it's almost every other sport. There's such a focus, like a desperate focus to get kids in the door to grow the sport. And then in skateboarding, there's some people. It's not everyone. There's people like you and I, and I'm sure Dan and Prince in the chat. Like those dudes, I know those dudes get it. But there are so many skaters that just like little kids are a problem and they're in the way. Bro.
Yeah. I feel like it's some deep seated jealousy there. Like this kid's gonna be better than me. Right?
That's funny. But also, I think the people that design this is another sustainability thing. If you're designing these outdoor parks, right? They should do a much better job in like telling these towns what they actually need, right? If you like Pillar skate parks, they've been on the show, or at least a foreman has, and he telling me they can't even keep up with how many skate parks they're selling. They have a sales team that goes around and sells
That's
skate
what's up,
parks,
man.
right?
That's a beautiful thing. Yeah, I'm
And
seeing them post. I'm like, good
yeah,
grief. That's
and
a beautiful
that's
thing,
good,
man.
but at the same time, like they need to do a better job. Like they should be able to collect the data, go to a town, and go, okay, listen, we know when we build an outdoor public park, we generally draw from this mile radius, right? We generally know that it increases ridership by about this much. And given the population density in your area, you
Hmm.
need a skate park that is about this big to fit the need of the people. Because then we have a new park in our area, and it's just like a madhouse all the time because it's totally too small of a footprint for how high the population density is. And like it would suck to wait another 2 years to get a skate park built. But like Pillar should instead of trying to just sell us another skate park, they should say, listen, a lot of people here. Like you need 10,000. Like don't do 5. It's going to be a problem. Either let's do a phased project or go
Yeah, I don't
back.
think they're cheap though. That might be an issue.
Yeah, but to a town
That might
though,
come with a cost, right?
to a big town, you give them another year
Just
to.
couple more million. It's nothing, right?
It depends on the town. Probably not a million, maybe a million. It depends a lot. It's way harder in big cities because there's way more red tape. It's way easier in small municipalities because they don't have to do feasibility studies, environmental studies, and all this extra stuff. Uh, yeah, everyone in the chat are agreeing that Pillar's building a lot of skate parks. That one in Scranton's got some. It's generally really good, but there's some funky stuff there. And I message now that I've had a couple of guys that build skate parks in the podcast. I'll like message them when I'm going to parks. I'm like, "Yo, what's up with this? Let me know what's that everyone knows. There's only so many people in that industry. They all know each other." And my buddy Cam that was in the show, there's like this weird Euro gap at that Scranton skate park, and rather than the Euro doesn't at the crest of the ramp, the Euro doesn't end there. It goes like another foot onto the flat, so it's like a Euro plus.
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
I sent him a picture. I'm like, "Yo, what is this about?" And he was like, "Dude, I'm in insert who knows middle America, Idaho, Utah. I don't know where he is." He goes, "We built the exact same one. Like they said, it's the same exact one. And we're building this thing going, what's up with this Euro gap?"
I kind of like that gap, man. I
Yeah.
feel like it just depends on the transition coming down. I feel like you need at
Yeah, yeah.
least like 4 feet coming down. Those
Actually,
are
this
pretty
particular
cool.
one didn't seem like it gave you enough speed, but whatever. I also think these companies should do a better job letting the towns know about like programming. You got to have programming, or at least really good signage at these parks to let people know about etiquette and stuff, or even maybe the town's not going to do it, but they should say, "Hey, here's a new park. You're going to expect this many new riders. You really should, work with a local, whatever the company that helped design or fundraise or a skate shop, and like you really should consider doing like Sunday morning something, right? Because otherwise, we all know it could be just pandemonium at the skate park unless someone's out there saying, "Hey, wait your turn."
All right, well that comes with a cost or like legislative, processes. That's why we gotta, take charge of initiatives like that, right?
Yeah.
We gotta get you to build some parks for us.
Well,
They gotta be staffed, and everything for that.
we just need some volunteers that care, like your people, some of my people. I mean, they do it by us. The skate park I keep mentioning peripherally, the Parrington skate park, the local skate shop does do a Sunday morning, like free meetup. We'll teach you a little bit about etiquette stuff, which is every skate park should do.
You gotta start hitting up some city hall meetings, man. Build a little board,
Oh, God, Rochester
start
City's got
knocking on
way
that
bigger
door.
fish to fry, dude.
Right? And that's why it might be just an easy, oh, whatever. Here you go.
Well, I'm on the board that got our park built in downtown, and the second phase is starting, and they're like pretty pumped on that. So That's all great stuff there. I did a video, went to the groundbreaking. The mayor was there, and someone from the New York State Secretary of State. I didn't even know that was a thing, but that's a thing apparently.
Hey. That's what's up,
It was
man.
mad funny. They did like a
Making waves.
groundbreaking, right? And they didn't like, stick a shovel in the ground like in the dirt where they're gonna build the skate park. They like brought in like a bobcat and brought dirt into the skate park, like inside on the concrete. They just dumped a pile of dirt in the concrete, and then they could do like their photo op, taking the gold
Yeah,
shovels. It's like, what?
it's pretty epic. Great.
Like, I get it for like the photo op. It looks good when the news is there and everything, but like every skateboarder was like, wait,
I feel like that's all politics is, bro. The photo op,
oh, dude, the worst. And we're in the bigger the city is, the worse it gets. But yeah, it took like 15 years to get our part. You can go back and find that episode with Alan from Rock City Skate Park. We talked all about the timeline and how long it took and all the hurdles and all this and that. And it's tough,
Let's
dude.
check that out.
Oh yeah, because we had like there's like a city engineer, and then the director of Parks and Recreation, and those commissioners, as they're called, are appointed. So despite
Mm.
having the support of 3 different mayors, every time we got a new mayor, then it's building new relationships with new appointees. And then the city engineer was an issue for a while. He didn't want to do it. He wasn't a fan of it. And it's just like this whole dog and pony show.
I believe you could do it though, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a 10-year-old park, man. You could do anything.
Well, we got our downtown park will be, I think, about 25,000 square feet when it's all said and done. So that's great. And I'm not sure what our board is going to do after the park's all done, but I think we're going to start advocating for smaller, like micro parks around the city, which I love. I think that's great. Concrete's relatively inexpensive, all things considered. You could totally go into these vacant lots in the city and just pour a little like 3-foot mini ramp or 2-foot mini ramp in a ledge or something.
Right,
And then
right,
it's like, when you want to develop it, just jackhammer it up anyway, whatever. Like it's
right.
not that big a deal. Shout out Pete
Maybe
Kyle in the
approve
chat.
upon the existing. Because I know I feel like a lot of places have like small, random forgotten about parks. I know Mass and Rhode Island do.
Oh yeah.
We could just like, a couple resources would, you know, give new life to those spaces.
I love your idea. It's something I've always thought about, like little like community garden, greenhouse, 2.5-foot mini ramp is like, there should be like 10 of those in every inner city in the country. Like, that would solve so
Right,
many
bro.
problems. Like
As far as like so many things, you got the mental health, the
yeah.
recreational, you're getting that, that dopamine, you're working out, you're working your mind. And
Oh
then,
yeah.
everything that we need that is waiting for us after we, leave skateboarding, right? Life.
Both gardening and skating teach you a lot. A kid,
Mhm.
especially kids who are growing up in rough households and stuff, and super low income. That stuff could be like, I mean, it was life changing for me. It could be life changing for a lot of kids. It's just and skateboarding is very accessible. Skateboards are so cheap. They're so you can get.
Sometimes they taxing now.
I mean, compared to a scooter is going to be a bit more. I mean, you can spend about the same on a scooter as a skateboard, but you're getting like an actually pretty low quality scooter. You can spend about
If you
$70 to
wanna,
get a good skateboard.
oh yeah, if you want a graphic on a skateboard,
Yeah,
right, $1 million.
yeah, but you wouldn't have to fundraise too much money to get like 10 skateboards to give away. But like compare that to bikes, like to have a really safe bike to ride BMX on, like it's minimum like $400 now.
Yeah, bikes are definitely different.
Yeah, and that's tough. That's way more. It's way less accessible.
But I feel like you'll probably have a bike for a long time. They probably
Yeah,
last,
yeah. Get a lot of flat
almost
tires though.
forever. Yeah, skateboards, you got to replace them, just depending on how gnarly you are,
That's true. Well, that's why you just have a mini ramp, right? You're way less likely to break boards just to skate in a mini ramp.
Right? Almost impossible,
Dude, I could just picture it. You just need like a mold. You just roll up to a lot, drop the mold, fill it with concrete,
Right?
boom, done.
That's what we need. We need,
Yeah.
some 3D printed skate parks out here.
My hope after I'm done with the indoor park, or if a miracle happens and it just is sustainable enough that I could afford a staff, would be to basically have like Breaking Free would be an organization for, like, I'd love to have the centralized hub for all things action sports, where whether it be an indoor facility, an outdoor facility, or programming, or collective bargaining for insurance policies for skate parks. Like, just because everyone you talk to, I've talked to so many skate park owners that are like, "Yeah, dude, what do you have for insurance? What does it cost? What did you tell them? What happened?" Like, no one knows anything. If we could be like, essentially like, hey, we have an insurance agent that works for our organization who gets everyone policies. So now we know what every skate park is paying, and we're starting to learn what the rates are based on, and now we can make informed decisions because now we kind of have a better idea of what's happening versus this like shooting in the dark.
Man,
Because I've
I feel
heard of
like
skate
using
parks way
brokers is
smaller than me
really,
paying twice as much in insurance than I pay.
yeah. I definitely brokers help,
Oh,
comparing
100%.
a lot of different, prices.
And part of the skate park project, formerly the Tony Hawk Foundation, they're like anti indoor skate park. They're and
Why?
because, well, they say because they don't want to be involved with anything that involves like paying to get in.
But
And,
we could again create systems that, I don't know, they got it. Why don't they just keep it open,
well,
right?
during COVID, they had a podcast called, I think it was called the Skate Park Project, and they did one episode about indoor skate parks, and I listened to it, and I was like, this is the most I grew up in Southern California take on indoor skate parks I've
Right?
ever
When the
heard.
weather is always nice.
Yeah, like it's like,
It's
bro, you never
cold
lived
in
somewhere
Rhode Island,
cold,
man.
dude.
Yeah, man. Then it rains, it gets dark, Well, we could skate, forever in the perfect conditions. Like why was that a bad thing?
And I think one of the reasons, hold on, did I tell you I lost my train of thought? I was reading a message in the live chat. Oh, God, you said something earlier. Oh yeah, the accessibility. I think one of the reasons that most indoor skate parks don't last is because they cater to a higher end or higher skill level customer base, or it's a passion project, it's a hobby project, and they like these people just really want a space to ride. Like, I've talked to several people that want to own skate parks, and I try to like hammer at them. I'm like, why do you want this? Why do you want it? Why do you? And eventually they'll be like, well, I just think it'd be really cool if I had a place to ride all the time. And I'm like,
And
you don't want to run an indoor skate
it's not
park.
for you.
You want like a key holder warehouse for you and your homies. Because if you had an indoor skate park, you're not going to be riding with your homies all the time. You're going to be working. Like, it doesn't work like that. You have to actually like really give a shit and care about the future and really, really think about what you're doing and offering, a facility that offers something for every discipline and every skill level. And
Hmm.
I know I'm doing a decent job because I hear complaints across the entire spectrum. So that means I'm making pretty good trade-offs.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of, I guess, biases or prejudices with the indoor skate parks.
Yeah.
Size is one, I feel like you got a big space. You could do a lot more. You can accommodate a lot more people, a lot more,
Yeah.
types of events and things like that.
And there's also like all the free public parks that they're building are very plaza oriented, right? So then it raises the question, should I build plaza oriented stuff that people are familiar with? So in the wintertime, they're like, oh, this is like the stuff I ride. Or do I run away from that and build more flow and transition oriented stuff, which means I'm then offering a different experience entirely?
I feel like uh I guess the reason why, skate parks fail, the reason why, businesses fail, it's not an it's a business at the end of the day. A lot of skaters are more concerned with the skating. Businesses are, very complex. There are so many different variables that we have to um, work on. Somebody might be stronger in this one, somebody might be weaker in another. Um, but I feel like a collective, could definitely help that, speak to that. educating people, about business. That's something I was trying to something I'm currently trying to do as well. Teach people from the mistakes I've made, so we can be better, the next time around.
I try to sprinkle in some of those videos in my content once in a while and just explain like, hey, here's just like a thing that a business owner has to deal with that you probably never thought of.
Hmm.
Like I did the one video about how like typically commercial real estate goes up 2% a year or 1%. It depends on the lease. Sometimes not, but usually it does. And some people have no clue that's a thing.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a predatory thing. Like, why does everything has to increase in price? And
Well,
then the people that own it, it's like one person that owns everything, and he's controlling the price, or a collective of people.
yeah. And then there's like this, like, oh, well, the rent goes up because of inflation goes up. I'm like, well, why does inflation go up? Because the government prints more money. So it's like, okay. Then all of a sudden it's like this unpacking of a billion. You're like Charlie Day with all the red strings. Like, it's
Right,
too much.
right. But a lot of the stuff I feel like with the affordability of houses is based on what the market will allow. What do people, if they didn't have a choice, what do they have to pay? So if you own everything, you can control the price of everything. But
Oh, yeah.
and also about the you said um, about what do you create, with the plaza, do you create, I feel like marketing is something that um, I didn't focus enough on, that I'm still working on. But finding people that do appreciate those features, because skating is so broad. You have
Hmm.
people, just do vert, people who just do freestyle, um, surf skating, so I feel like there are people for every type of park. We just have to find those people.
Yeah, like I with this project I'm doing right now, I post a video like, should I do this project or that project? They said that project, and I was like, all right, should I do this or this? And when I'm doing a project, I'll sketch out some drawings. I'll ask a bunch of my customers. I'm trying to get as much data as possible, right?
Hmm.
And we got to this point with I was talking with a particular skater who I really really like and I really respect his opinion, and like what he was advocating for was an entirely symmetrical setup. So it's a one bank across the whole thing, the same ledge on both sides, the one rail down the middle, so you could do everything both ways. And like I get it. I totally get it. But for a huge amount of users that come here that they can't ollie yet, they can't bunny hop, they can't even jump on their scooter. So if I have a 20-foot wide bank with two ledges and a rail that they can't even get onto, that offers that rider only one singular experience.
Right, to roll down the little
Right?
bank.
But if I do one bank a little mellower and one bank a little steeper, well, at least now I have two experiences. And in this instance, I have the one mellower bank crests up like about 6 inches extra and then kind of comes back down almost like a little mini-ish A-frame
Mhm.
peak. And for a little kid on a skateboard or a scooter, that's like awesome. That's great for them. And I do an event once a month with little kids on Strider bikes. It's a perfect feature for them. But like, other people are like, no, I want to hit the rail exactly the same from both ways. Like, you don't get it. Like, believe me, dude, I get it.
Right.
Like, all I did was ride flat rails. I too would love to have the symmetrical setup. But then even then, it's like most skaters want a very short rail. They want to do a grind that's maybe 3 feet long or so and come off the end nice and quick, right? If you
That's too. We need at least like 16, 20, right?
Yeah, so like bikers want to. Well, a lot of times, like a good length for a skateboard, if you want like what they would call like your bump to ledge or bump to rail, as they would call it, it's like about a bike's length worth of grind, and then it's like totally
Mhm.
useless for a bike. So like you have to try to like, and but bikes are only 15% of my user base, so it's like okay, I try to make my stuff like it's like 3/4 of an inch taller than peg height, so it's just big enough to bike. You know,
Right,
It's tough, man. The people don't understand the trade-offs you have to make.
right. Why can't we have everything?
Yeah, right.
Right.
I mean, one of the beautiful things about skateboarding is you don't need anything. Like you could have, if you have a nice smooth parking lot, tennis court, and a waxed up curb, maybe a flat bar you got, you could skate for years with that, right? You don't need too much.
Yeah. I feel like I have ADHD. I need to roll down something, jump off something, man.
Yeah. It's funny for every skater that will come in and say they're like, "Oh, this is just a bike park." I have a biker that comes in and goes, "I can't. Half this park is so small, I can't even ride it." And I'm like, oh,
Man.
"Yeah, I mean that's how it's going to be, you know."
All right, we can't cater to everybody, right?
Yeah, I go one or the other, you know.
All right.
Yeah, for Prince in the chat. Yeah, bikes have I don't think they've ever broken 50% of overall users. So like I don't know if you really looked at pictures of the park. I have a box jump, a bike section. It's a bike rhythm line. You know, they're pretty high level jumps. In hindsight, I always say hindsight's 420. I would have never built this place the same way had I known what I know now. Like, it's really cool feature, and bikers will drive like 6 hours to ride a cool box jump line the same way they would come that far to ride a good bowl. But to have something, if only 15% of my users are bikes, and then not all the bikers even jump stuff, and of the ones that do jump stuff, they have to be at least intermediate to really utilize it. It's like I've dedicated like maybe, I don't know what that is, maybe 8 to 10% of my floor space to probably 5% of my users. And I would have been way better off doing a smaller kind of maybe more like flow rhythm pump line and then more street section. But like,
How much space do you have at your park, man?
I have 22,000 square feet
22,000 square feet. That's beautiful, man.
and I have huge tall ceilings too. Like I have a
You gotta
bridge.
do a whole. If you could like restart, what would your skate park look like? The perfect,
100%
perfect storm.
pump track would be like the first like thing, because a pump track is so accessible. Like you would get tons of parents rather than hanging out and watching would like bring
Mhm.
their mountain bike and just do some laps around a pump track. So I think there's really sustainable ways you can build pump track or pump track light features that like circle other stuff or like integrate into it. I think that could
Definitely,
really
bro.
really be done. I think
I think
general.
also what they need to do with pump tracks that they never do is put like, maybe like a little quarter, with some coping up there,
Well, one of the
like
problems there is that you have
throughout
the pump
randomly,
track companies don't build skate parks. You know, like it's like
Yeah, so you can like pump or go around the corner, hit the rail, come around.
we're kind of in the early days of the pump track thing. So there's pump track companies that are pretty good, and then there's like skate parks. Like both the new parks in our area, they have pump tracks, and they're both terrible. And I'm like, well, that's because you asked a skate park company that are all skateboarders to build you a pump track, which is a little more bike centric. That's like,
Yeah.
would you go to a pump track company and ask them to build you a skate park? They'd be like, no, go ask a skate park company. So we're kind of in the Wild West now, where like that integration of pump track and skate park stuff is kind of going to get smoothed over for the next couple of years, and there's going to be a lot of ones that don't quite work, but probably like 3, 4, 5 years from now, they'll probably be awesome.
Right. 'Cause I feel like they need to be a little more mellow throughout. I feel like a lot of them are like super aggressive. You go around one time and you're gas, man.
Well, the problem with that, pump tracks are like trying to mimic like almost like BMX race tracks, and when you build anything out of dirt, right, you can pack it down. You can like
Mhm.
shave a little bit of the radius off. You can throw some more dirt on. Like you can make it steeper. Like it's easy to make fine little adjustments. You build something out of concrete. If it's not right, well, oh, that's it.
Right. But
This
that's
is
why you
got.
gotta know, the exact science, before you
Yeah,
lay it down. Because
I
it's
build my
forever,
stuff out of
right?
wood, and if it's not
Right.
great,
If
it's
you
like,
don't like it,
sorry.
hey, we can fix it.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. It's really really tough to get things quite right. But yeah, if I had to do it all over again, pump track would be huge. I think generally I would keep things smaller. My my I have two mini ramps. I have a we call my mini, which is about 2.5 feet tall. Most popular thing in the whole skate park. It was literally an afterthought. We had leftover pieces from the bowl because the bowl came here from a different skate park. I had like a
That's
I
dope.
think an 8 foot or a 10 foot spine, and I
Mm.
was like, well, what if I just take it apart, face each other. I'll
Yeah,
just cut it
genius.
right here, and I'll just make a little like mini
Yeah.
ramp and whatever. Ends up being the most popular thing we have. Home run.
'Cause why
Then
do you need a 10-foot spine,
yeah,
right?
and then I have a 3 foot spine mini, and really the difference between 2.5 and 3 is pretty significant. Like I only skateboard the mini. I like never go into the 3 foot. It's like they're almost the same radius. They're really close to being the same radius, but just that extra 6 inches is huge.
Right.
And like a little more backstory, like my park is built entirely from the old skate park. So we took it all apart into pieces and then reformulated. So much of the skate park was just like, all right, this is the bank we have, so that's going to be the Euro gap. Like
Right.
I
But you
didn't,
got all the wood, you know. Now you could
yeah,
like chop it up, you know, Frankenstein a new one, right?
yeah. Over the last 9 years, I've rebuilt almost everything here, so it's much better. When we first opened, like you look at pictures, and you're like, that place is weird because it was like
Right.
build a skate park, make it work.
Right.
How would what would you do if you're going to build your new spot? What would?
I got a couple designs, man. We got one on our website for the small one, and I've been working on the other one that I want to do. If we ever, were to acquire, some land, but it's on dreamerstudio77.org. This would kind of be well, you definitely can't see
No,
that, huh? Maybe if I turn the brightness down, yeah.
dreamerstudio77.org.
7.org, yeah. And that
I
would
could
kind of be
probably
their
I could
space.
probably pull it up in a browser. Dreamstudio.org. Yeah, I can see that. Keeping it
And so
basic.
mellow. Yeah, mellow. Yeah, some, street features, some verts features, A-frame. I feel like accessible for everyone. And also like, chill enough to be like super technical.
Yeah, A-frames are a great feature for all skill levels for sure.
And then like chill, stairs.
What kind of like if your organization everything works out for you? What kind of staff are we talking? Would it be a small operation, or would you have a lot of people? Would it be a lot of volunteers? Like, what's the vision like?
Um, Everybody, would be a part of the club, man. I would love to, be as big as possible, to be impactful as possible. For whatever, everything we're trying to do. I feel like the model it could be implemented in so many different places,
Sick.
as far as like, especially like the answering the need, for the community, the homelessness and the food, security, which I feel like it's like a lot of the skaters didn't like, that's kind of my motive, my behind everything.
Yeah.
I'm trying to leave, the space I'm in better than, it was.
You seem really, really passionate about the all the community stuff with the food and the homeless and stuff. Where does that come from? Did you struggle growing up, or how did that? What brought you to that mindset?
I don't know, man. I'm just a loving person, man. So I don't know. It's just who I am. So
Just
I know I
compassion.
can't get rid of it. Yeah, I wish I could, right? I'd be a lot better off, man, if I could just worry about myself.
That's great. I'm pretty compassionate, but I'm also a bit of a hard ass sometimes. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud now. I like one of my core philosophies is you shouldn't do something for someone that they can do for themselves, because then you're just not actually helping them. And that can
Mhm.
sound pretty harsh, but like like you want to like lead someone to where they can give them as much as they can, and then be like, no, you got to drop in on your own. Like, I'm not going to hold your hands. Like I do hold their
Right,
hands,
right.
but what I'm saying, like, there's got to be a little like, if you always, you know, if you always hold their hand, they're just never going to learn to do it on their own. That doesn't really apply to like obviously homeless and hungry people. Obviously, it's more just
Right.
a core philosophy and just help building resilience, and that's kind of what action sports does. Is they build a lot of resilience, right?
But a little bit of the compassion, the patience, I feel like that's what builds better. So we're noticing now that kids are 8 years old doing the same thing Tony Hawk is doing, but that was because of, they had that hand, holding them. Hey, let's learn step by step. Let's acclimate to that, so that could be transferred to life.
Oh yeah,
So when
yeah.
the systems are trying to tear us down, if we could just help each other, we could build back even better.
Yeah, you could support and nurture without like coddling and
Suffocating.
sheltering, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like at a certain point, like your kid's gonna have to. fall. Like a lot of parents
Yeah,
don't want
but
their
you
kid
just
to ever
help
get
them
hurt.
build up that confidence,
Yeah.
in order to get up to that level to fail comfortably, without it being catastrophic. And also, offering that support when they do fall, like,
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
building that resilience to weather it, and then the support, when they do falter.
Yeah, my like background in action sports and all this like really shows through with my parenting with my daughter. She's 1.5 and like she's climbing on stuff and like a lot of times many people are like kind of freaked out. I just let her do her thing. I let her go for it. And like, well,
Hmm.
what if she falls? I'm like, then she falls.
Right.
Like, is she gonna get hurt? Like,
Right.
yeah, it'll probably hurt. Like, but
Right.
if you never let her climb on the bench, she never knows she can climb on a bench. And if she falls off once, she'll learn that lesson.
Right. And
Like,
to be honest, man, action sports are 90% fear,
yeah,
so they
totally.
have that, not being scared already, program. And when they get that, you could be so much more comfortable. And when you're comfortable, you can do just about anything on a board, a scooter, a bike.
100%. I teach a ton of lessons too, and like my whole philosophy is this like very, um, it's like this way to, it's built around mitigating the fear. It's about around building up both muscle memory and confidence, so that you don't
Hmm.
get to that like paralyzing fear. Because like fear is
Right.
quite literally paralyzing. You cannot stay. You have
It
to
really
stay
is,
loose to
man.
balance on a board. And if you're fearful, you stiffen up, and then you're gonna fall.
It also is like the reason why we get hurt, it's like jumping out of a moving car, I've
Yeah,
seen people like bail at the worst time. Like if you'd have just stayed on the board, it would have been so much better for you. But
hundred
yeah, that
percent.
fear definitely cripples us. I dropped in, on a 14 foot half
Woo,
pipe for the first time,
woo,
what was it, last week? And like fear had been stopping me. So, like I know I
yeesh.
could do it, I know I could do it, but like, what if I don't? You know, that fear is paralyzing. But I don't know. That day I was like, man, I'm gonna do it. It's like, whatever, I'm gonna do it, whatever happens, but I know I'm gonna land it. The first try I got it, it was like shaky. I was like, dang, I actually did it. So I went back again.
Was this a
But it's
vert
that
ramp?
fear. If you stay over the board, you should be good, for the most part. A lot of times is when we lean too far forward or too far back is when, the bad stuff happens.
A lot of time it's the leaning back, but not mentally committing to it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But just commit all the way through and know if I'm gonna fall, like, hey, let me control my fall.
yeah. Almost all the lessons I teach are with like super, super beginners. Like I actually tell the
Mm-hmm.
parents, I'm like, don't even let them get on the board before they see me. Like let's build the muscle memory from scratch. And I work on boards that don't have wheels, and then I work on these like balance boards I created, and we like hammer it over and over and over and over again and create all this muscle memory. So by the time we start get moving around, they don't really have to think about what they're doing because they've done this repetitious
Right,
motion.
right.
And yeah, and then almost every lesson I do, I could take a kid who's never been on a board, and in 30 minutes, I could have them going down ramps on their own. It's rare
That's
that it
what's
doesn't
up,
work,
man.
but I've done it for
That's
like a
what's up,
decade,
man.
and I'm also a huge pussy. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
so like that's how I've scaled my riding is like just nibbling a little bit more, really feel it out, really feel it out. And it's a very effective strategy to have like slow, sustainable growth and
Definitely, man.
minimizing
I
like the
definitely use
really
those
horrific falls.
boards too. Yeah, man.
I tell them like you're gonna fall, right? Like it's gonna happen, but if you pace yourself
Mhm.
and never bite off more than you can chew, the falls aren't gonna be that bad. Like
Right, right.
because that for
I
a
feel like
lot
a
of
lot of times when people get hurt, like you're not like that. Like,
yeah, I mean
work yourself up.
you'll know that because for a lot of kids, the first fall is like the make or break moment, right?
Definitely,
And
bro.
like
I seen it
I've had
so
kids, they
many
fall in a
times.
lesson and they're like, you could just the second you can see it in their eyes, like, up, it's over, they're done, they're done.
Right, I'm getting a bite.
It's like I've just developed the method to like build up that confidence and like
Hmm.
get a bunch of really small wins so they can get them in there before that fall happens. And
Hmm.
it's easier with kids because in a lesson, if the kid's 100 pounds less than you, if they start to fall, you could just grab them. It's
Right,
a
you just
little
snatch
bit
some. There you go. There you go.
a little bit
It's all
harder
right.
with a bigger guy. I once did a lesson with a guy that was like 300 pounds, And
Dang,
I
that's
was like,
what's
listen,
up, man. Big shout out to him, man.
I was like, I'll try, bud. But best case scenario, we're just going down together, brother.
We're both going down, right?
And he was like, it was actually really wholesome. He was in his 30s, and he said his whole life, he always wanted to skateboard, and he was too scared to try it when he was a kid. And he's like, I just turned 30, and I'm going to do lessons. And I'm like, all right. And we probably did 4 lessons to just be able to get him to get onto the board while moving. And he would be like drenched in sweat, like so determined, but so scared.
I love that passion, man.
And he ate it once or twice, and he came back, and I don't think we ever even got to do like a push and roll, but he was like ecstatic. He's like, that's good enough. I did it. And I'm like, F yeah, dude.
Check it off the list. Right?
Yeah. I also once did lessons with a Vietnam veteran who was in his 70s. That was pretty crazy.
That's cool, right?
And my girl's a year and a half old, and I can get her going back and forth on the mini ramp. It's pretty sick.
That's what's up. I feel like everyone's different though.
For sure.
Everyone has different mental thresholds of, fear. I feel like that can be a really big limiting factor, And then you have different, skill levels, You got people that are adults, that stepping off could like end their, career.
I mean,
you
know
got
the
kids that are
cost
5
of
years
falling
old
when
that
you're an
are
adult.
dropping in.
For sure. All right, Regis, tell the people where they can find your stuff, where they can support you, what they can do to help the cause, where they can follow, etc. Plug all the stuff. Let them know.
Oh, you can follow us at Galileo Skatepark on Instagram. It's GALILEOS Skatepark on Instagram. Our website is dreamerstudios777.org. A lot of our stuff about our mission is there. And you can support by following us. Maybe grab some merch, That's about it, man.
Do you have a way to accept donations? Is there like a donations button on the page or anything?
Oh, yeah, we do have a donation button on the page as well.
Where would that be located?
So if you go to dreamerstudios777.org and scroll down.
All the way to the bottom.
All the way down under the skate park, there's a Make a Difference button.
Awesome.
And they'll take you to our GoFundMe.
And you're looking for a location to build multi-purpose space.
Free indoor skate park, space for workshops. I like to do like farmers markets, to bring food to the community, make it more accessible, healthy living more accessible. And we also have emphasis on the art as well. So we had artists come out and tag the park, give them a safe space, they can be creative without, vandalizing someone's dream, as well as dance. So we had a few dance companies come out and utilize the space to express themselves, through dance. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean,
that's awesome.
Maybe you want to
That's awesome. And one person in the chat said, they asked where you are geographically. You're Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island area.
Oh yeah, Providence, Rhode Island area.
Do you know where the closest indoor to you would be right now? Is it Edge?
Edge is like an hour away from me. Edge is an awesome skate park.
They're like
awesome
south, east
so
Mass.
Like variety. Yeah, a lot of massive stuff. Lighthouse is the closest to me. Also another awesome skate park.
Lighthouse? I never even heard of that.
Park, what? Well, I'm glad, I was able to spread the news.
Are they in Rhode Island?
Yes, Providence, Rhode Island as well.
That's great. I have learned of so many more indoor skate parks just from doing all the content creation.
They got Hive out there. Vessel Skate Park is a free skate park in Mass. About the same, about an hour and change from me.
I follow them on the gram.
Yeah, awesome people, man.
Well, that's awesome, dude. Thank you so much for being here and telling all the people about your project. I wish you the best of luck.
Same, man.
Thanks.
Man. I gotta come down there and help you build some stuff, man.
if you make your way out here, you can just skate and have a good time. Listen, I
Yeah,
know what it's like when you're grinding. I love to go to someone else's skate park and just be like, wait a minute, I can just enjoy riding it and not think
you
about,
can do
oh,
both, right?
yeah, you could. You could.
Yeah.
I was going to try to get down to Pittsburgh to help the Woods Room on their new park. 'Cause there it's a bike park, and they were like this other park closed, and they like saved the ramps, and they got the new space and blah blah blah.
That's what's up,
It's
man.
just so hard for me to get away and do anything because owning a skate park, it's like the heartbreaking thing about it is just like everyone's here like, oh dude, next weekend we're going here. Well, you should come. Like,
Like
bro,
I'm
I'm gonna
not.
be here, dude. Like,
Right? It's gonna be right. Life just passing you by.
yeah, I mean, one day when I don't have this skate park, I'll probably travel and get to ride and go do all the stuff and do that too. But for now, I'm holding the torch. I'm happily carrying the torch, and hopefully one day I will pass that torch on to the next person who can carry it. And that's we could all hope for. There's hope that there's people in hopefully within an hour from where you live who are holding that torch so you can enjoy riding.
Right? You're Superman though, because that's rough, man. You need that work-life balance, man. You should be able to enjoy both, simultaneously. We got to get you a team, man.
It doesn't bother me. I love it. My wife does not like it as much. I would like to see
Yeah.
my wife more. But
Yeah, we definitely need that, man.
it's just a little bit tough right now because we're in the toddler phase. So I watch my daughter during the day, and my wife works in the
Mhm.
morning, and then we have this like maybe if we're lucky an hour overlap where we get to see each other, and that's just that. That's how it is. Eventually, when our daughter's older, things could be different. But for now, it's just like everyone knows you have kids. The first couple of years are a bit of a grind, and
Definitely, man. Yeah.
we'll see. I don't know if we're
Right.
probably planning on homeschooling, but I don't know. Who knows? A lot can happen in
That's
the
a
next couple
wrap,
of years.
right? I thought about that for 1 second, and I
Yeah.
just looked
You
at
got
it. I was like,
kids?
nope. I'll let the professionals handle
Yeah.
that.
Do you have kids?
Oh, I have a 3-year-old,
3-year-old?
man.
That's cool. That's fun.
Right,
So you're not
right.
far
I love
behind.
him so much, man. Yeah.
Boy or girl?
Oh boy.
He skate at all? Or you try to get him to do a little skating?
I tried, man. He doesn't really like it like that. He was really into the scooter,
Yeah.
so he was on the scooter at two,
Awesome.
ride down our A-frames or pretty tall A-frames. But he likes the bike a lot more. He's fearful, the skateboard.
Mm.
So we're trying to work on that.
I think anything, bike or scooter, whatever it is, you can get them acclimated to up and down ramps. Eventually, it's going to translate over to more comfortability on the skateboard because skateboarding is undoubtedly the hardest one out of all of them. It's also the coolest one.
Yeah.
That's coming from a
To me,
biker.
yeah,
Yeah.
wait.
Skateboarding is sick, dude.
No
Like
hate to anybody else,
everyone
though,
wishes they
but I just
skateboarded. Like every biker's
right,
like, oh, I wish I could skate.
right. Until you see the kid, do a double backflip at the park, right, on the bike.
That's not my
But
cup
yeah,
of tea.
skateboarding, I feel like it's just a different level of beauty to me.
Yeah. It's cool. Everything has their own expression. There's, if you shred, you can appreciate the shred across all boards. We keep
Definitely,
keep the
man.
hate out. I hate the scooter hate. I'm old enough to know when
Yeah,
all,
it's a lot harder than it looks.
yeah,
I give them a lot of respect, man.
yeah. I'm old enough to that when I was a kid, skateboarders didn't like bikers. That was just like the thing, and then we all got over it and realized we're basically doing the same thing. And then scooters came around, and then they're all like, "Yeah, f them," and I'm like,
Right.
and I'm over there going,
We
"Dude,
need something to hate.
it's like we already did this. Like we already did it. Like
Right.
let's just be like, no, we're all here. Like we're all together.
Right.
Like
Yeah, I don't understand that the gatekeeping culture. I feel like
yeah,
that's a really, I don't know, staple within like, these extreme sport communities.
yeah. I think for the young kids, I think the skateboard scooter 1-2 punch is awesome because
Right.
at the end of the day, like the kid wants to go to the skate park, they want to feel the wind in their hair, they want to go wee and ride down the ramp, and they want to
Right.
feel like
Right.
they're proficient, right? Skateboarding is so hard. I mean, you're gonna go to the skate park, and you take a 6-year-old or whatever. How long is it till they can proficiently just get around a skateboard, get
Right.
a skate park
Right.
on a board? So I
Without getting broke off, man.
I always advocate for both. just the kid run. He'll run out there. He'll try to skate for 20 minutes or so, get a little frustrated, grab the scooter around for half an hour, have some fun, and then when he's kind of simmered down, all right, cool. Now I'm gonna get back and try to work on my ollies, and it's a really good way to keep them engaged for longer and less frustrated, and kind of balance those two. And almost every kid that does that, once they get good enough at skateboarding, that's just where they stay, because it's like I said, it's like skateboarding's the cool one. Like, I'm not saying scooters aren't cool, but like skateboarders just like romanticized in pop culture. It's like there's such a thing.
Do a kickflip. Nobody ever goes down the street and say, do a bar spin, right?
Yeah, sometimes they don't say do a heel whip or whatever scooter trick, Well, Regis, thank you so much for coming on. If things shake loose in your project and things are happening and you have the time, I'd love for you to come back and share us your story as things unfold. So you'll keep in touch.
Definitely, man. Thank you for, having me on here. I'll definitely keep in touch. I got to make it down that way, and I got to check out your park.
I got something in the chat from Dan. Dan said, I skate, and the biggest reason I don't like to mix blades, bikes, and scooters is because different speeds and approaches. I would argue at a skate park, the pace of riding is dictated by the ramps that are around you. Therefore, generally, everyone would be going about the same pace.
Slightly. I feel like a lot of you could throttle a lot, so it's based on how hard you pump, how you approach everything. So you don't have to go, as fast.
It's definitely easier to go faster on a bike.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I feel like doing, being multidisciplinary, I feel like it helps you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so you go super high on a bike. If you do it on a skateboard, it won't feel as life threatening.
Yeah,
or the same as a scooter.
All right. Well, thank you everybody in the chat. It's been a pretty decent live chat tonight. Thank you. You guys know all the deal. Like, subscribe. I think you're supposed to review the podcast on Apple or something. That's what everyone else says. It must mean something then. Skatepark news. Let's see. I'm building a new section. December 17th. BFS free day. Every year on our anniversary, it's the free day B-Day, we call it. It is free to ride on that day every year.
Free to ride. Let's go.
And it's always crazy because 100 people come in because it's free. But wait, there's more.
Always show up when it's free, right?
We're having a metal show as well. So for some people that don't know, a good friend of ours, Anthony Stockwell, he's a mountain biker, and he would come here and ride dirt jumpers, and he's a dirt bike guy. He recently got paralyzed in a dirt bike accident.
That sucks,
and so on the free day, it is going to be free, but we're going to do a suggested donation. Whatever money we get that day is going to go directly to him and his rehabilitation. He did not sever his spinal cord. He just had some major compression. There is hope that he will regain the ability to walk, so we're going to help him any way we can. It'll be free to ride from 4 to 9. At 9 o'clock, we have 2 bands that are going to be playing. One's a thrash metal band, and one is a metal core band. So that'll be an all-ages show, and everyone's welcome to stay and watch it. And if you want to throw down $10 to help a rider in need, that would be great. And that's pretty much it. I ain't got nothing else later in the season. The free date, Dan, the free date is December 17th. It is a Wednesday. The free day is always the 17th, unless the 17th falls on a Saturday or Sunday, because I can't give away a Saturday for free. It's always going to be a weekday.
But yes, you could, right? You're the boss.
Giving up a Saturday in the wintertime is like me just giving away like $2,000 towards my rent, and I can't do that. Because I have $10,000 a month of rent.
That's why we got to own. Sustainability is also that ownership, man. It's a lot cheaper to own.
Yeah. But then if the roof collapses, it's my fault or my problem.
Insurance, if we get like a newer space, you won't have to worry about that.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Regis will stay in touch. And, the deal, guys, keep grinding, et cetera, et cetera. Love you guys.